Welcome to this section in the Advanced HTML and CSS course. This section is on media queries. So let's jump into it. With media queries, it is possible to completely restyle your web projects based on the size of a user screen. All of the lessons we have had so far have focused on making sure that the individual elements of your layout are as flexible as possible. But sometimes you will need to actually change some of your CSS values to accommodate a specific screen size. These changes could be subtle shifts, such as adjusting margin, padding, or font size to squeeze more content onto the screen, or they could be big obvious shifts in the layout. The nature of the exact changes will depend on your design, but the underlying technique is the same. Learning outcomes. So media query syntax, the basic syntax, you will learn how to implement media queries to create fully responsive websites that look great on any device. So it can be a mobile phone, it can be a tablet or laptop or large screen, huge screen devices like TVs. Media query syntax. The basic syntax for media queries is actually very simple. So how does it look like? In the above example, the margin is changed based on the screen size. So here you have body, margin as 24 pixel generally, and then there is at media max width 600 pixels. So for a screen width which has a max width of 600 pixel and less, body will become margin 8 pixels. So body margin will shrink in smaller devices. Specifically, on all screens below or equal to 2600 pixel, the margin will be 8px, and on all screens above 600 pixel, it will be 24px. So there is only one breakpoint. We call this one breakpoint. This 600 pixel, this is the breakpoint. So below this, that is one margin has one value, above it, it has another value. Really, that's all there is to it. You can create some complex shifting layouts with just this knowledge alone. You can create an unlimited number of media queries in a single document. Click the edit on CodePen button so you can resize your screen and see the changes. You can also put any number of style definitions inside your media query. So we can change, here you can see body background is purple. So when I make it 0.25px, it is like it is simulating a large screen. So now the background is purple, whereas for 900 pixel background is green. So I'll not be able to see that. For 800 pixel it's brown, 700 pixel pink. So this is 700 pixel, we are seeing pink, and then there is blue and finally orange. So anything below 500 pixel is orange. So that's how it has colored multiple. You can also put any number of style definitions inside a media query. So example here, body has these styles, header, and then main has display of flex. So if I make it smaller, so in a tablet screen or a mobile screen, it is like all of them stack up. But in a large screen, then you have a sidebar, a header, a footer, and then a main section. A side with 300 pixels, so all of this by default, and the media query is for 800 pixel. When it's 800 pixel, everything will stack up like in a mobile phone. Other queries. In all the above examples, our queries specify a max width which will apply styles to any screen resolution below the given style. Said another way, a max width query will apply on any screen up to the defined max width. It is also possible to define a min width which applies to screens that are larger than the given value. Max height and min height are also valid for media queries. Limit media queries. As mentioned earlier, it is possible to create an unlimited number of media queries for every possible screen size. However, it is best to minimize your media query usage and rely more on the natural flexibility of your layouts. Consider the second embedded example above, my cool site, where we saw that there's a blog layout. It only needs one media query to accommodate all desktop and mobile sizes, and there's no real need to create more. Common breakpoints. Breakpoint is a term for the screen size that triggers your media query. You will find quite a lot of different opinions on what exactly a breakpoint should be. In general, it's helpful to think about the kinds of devices and screens that your users will be using. Mobile phones are usually under 500 pixel. Tablets are often between 500 pixel and 1000 pixel. Anything larger than 1000 pixel is likely to be a normal browser screen. Super wide screens are also becoming more common, which means that your site could end up being viewed on a screen wider than 2000 pixel. So as a rule of thumb, you can remember these breakpoints 500, 1000 and 2000. This does not mean that you should just start your project with media queries for each device. Each project is going to have different requirements based on the design you are trying to achieve. As mentioned above, try to limit your breakpoints to just what you need. With many relatively simple layouts, you can get by with only one mobile-centric breakpoint, somewhere around 500 to 600 pixel. More complex layouts might benefit from doing a full-size layout above 1200 pixel, an altered tablet layout between 600 and 1200 pixel, and mobile below 600 pixel. The real takeaway here is that it doesn't really matter exactly where you set your breakpoints. Just do what makes sense for your project. Zooming. In most browsers, zooming in on a web page will change the effective resolution of that page. If your browser window is exactly 1000 pixel wide, zooming in will cause the page to behave as if the current screen is smaller and will trigger media queries based on the simulated zoom screen resolution. Zooming out can be handy for debugging issues that arise on screens that are larger than your own computer screen. Forgetting that you have zoomed in or out of a web page can cause some real confusion when breakpoints refuse to trigger at the correct points. So keep in mind about the zooming factor and always look for it whenever you see that your breakpoints are not triggering. Print styles. You often see media queries defined with the screen keyword like so. So you'll always see screen along like media screen and then max width, min width, max height, min height. This is not necessary, but it does point towards another very useful capability of media queries, changing styles based on the media type. Everything we've covered so far have been specifically intended for viewing on some kinds of screen, so specifying screen is redundant. However, it is possible to create a different set of styles for your website when it is sent to a printer or viewed in print preview mode by using the print keyword. So we have also another keyword called print. Media print and your print styles goes there. So generally you will remove the backgrounds or you will make it more monotone. So if you're going for a black and white print, you might want to change colors to black and white. So light colors to white and dark color to black to get achieve a better contrast. This is not something we're going to focus on in our curriculum, but it may be something you want to consider taking advantage of in some cases. It's fairly common to change some colors, that is making things black and white, and add display none to hide elements that are useless in a printed environment like buttons, nav links, etc., which will not add any interactivity in a printed document. Assignment. Look through using media queries on MDN. So this is on MDN. Yeah, it's MDN article. There are a few additional things you can do with media queries that might be worth knowing about, though their usage is much less common. Knowledge check. The section contains questions. So in this knowledge check, how do you define a media query to create a mobile layout for your site? So that is how you define. What is the difference between max width and min width in a media query definition? So you have max width, so anything less than that particular breakpoint, then this media query will fire. Whereas min width specifies that anything bigger than this breakpoint, this particular media query will fire. Additional resources. The media query tutorial on FreeCodeCamp covers the same items we have touched on here. So you can go to FreeCodeCamp for this article. If you want more hands-on practice, this Conquering Responsive Layouts course by Kevin Powell might interest you. You'll have to sign up. This is a course with Kevin Powell. Okay, so you might look into this course. With that, we will move on to the next lesson.